Tippy time my damies, Top Cat here and welcome back to the channel. I've been absolutely loving me that Stasis Hunger debuff modifier. This reduces our ability charge rate, but then gives us a massive burst of instant stasis energy, giving me absolutely retarded levels of icicles. This allows us to make incredible crowd control builds. We're going to be using the Mask of Fealty for our Icy Hunter today. With this, our Withering Blade hits and bounces create a small stasis crystal and refund us a small portion of melee energy. With each hit, it's going to grant us 7.5% melee energy, and those first and third bounces spawn small stasis crystals. This gives us a lot more shattered damage and shifts my melee from a slow ability to a freeze ability, again upping that shattered damage. We can also break these mini icebergs with our melee to create withering blades and ice. I can though with this kit do this with a more cost effective way. Now this build we're running is a hybrid set of gear. I've been running 2-piece Paragon, 1-piece Grenadier and 2-piece Bulwark. The idea is to get around 50 health, and with the help of our stats in conjunction with our font mods, we want to get 100 melee, 100 grenade, 100 intellect and 100 class. We don't need to worry about the weapon stats as our armor is going to take care of that. I'm running a 2-piece Last Discipline. This gives us the perk Terminal Velocity, where our final blows with primary weapons grant our primary weapons a temporary increase to their reload speed. Then I've opted for a 2-piece Bushido, so our final blows with our freshly drawn or reloaded weapons are going to heal us. Now I could have opted for the 4-piece Bushido. I do have it here, as I do primarily run the Verglass Curved Bow with this build. With Ash and Iron we can now make this bow an anti-barrier weapon, giving it the flexibility we didn't quite have at the beginning of Edge of Fate. It is a lightweight bow though, so generally not considered one of the strongest bows as an anti-barrier weapon. At normal difficulty you can deal with anti-barriers with ease, but in those harder difficulties you might need a little bit of that team shot going on, as it may struggle a little bit. Thankfully we got some new artifact perks in here. One of them is Argent Quiver. When reloading a bow it consumes a stack of armor charge, granting us increased damage and reload speed for the next 3 shots or until the bow is stowed. This is a mouth-watering 35% damage bonus, so it'll make dealing with those champs a lot easier. Additionally, the Verglass Curve trait is called Hailstorm. Direct hits with stasis arrows freeze combatants and slow opposing guardians, but if we shoot the ground instead, it's going to create us a stasis crystal. If we shatter these too can break that anti-barrier champion shield. We can store as many as 5 of these and release all 5 of them at the same time, purely by shooting the ground. This makes us an absolutely juicy ice wall, so big Jon Snow would be proud to sit upon it. And with the catalyst, when we freeze or slow targets, this is going to grant us a faster draw speed for a short period of time. So between the catalyst, the artifact, our hybrid armor, this bow has risen a lot in value. If the bow though is not your jam, Wicked Implement is still gold. It's super strong this season and allows us to deal with overloads, but if you're looking for an anti-barrier weapon, I would still look at the Jurisprudent. Stasis Scout Rifle in that top slot can deal with those anti-barriers, and with Rhyme Stealer and Headstone it can give us a good source of frost armor and more shatter. This build is big on shatter, so no doubt we're going to be running the Glacial Grenade. We pair this with the Grim Harvest aspect, so when we defeat a slowed or frozen target, it's going to create us a stasis shard. Each of these shards we pick up return melee energy to us and allow us to gain access to frost armor. I've got my usual cocktail of elemental coalescence, so when we defeat targets we also have a chance to create an elemental pickup to aid in making us even more shards, and with refresh thread it's going to grant us a stack of energy towards our least charged ability. Now the energy isn't going to one place all the time. As you know, with most hunter kits, it's a bit of an ability circle jerk. We dodge to make melee, we melee to make grenade, we grenade to make dodge. It's a formula we're all familiar with. But this way, between our melee freezing, our nade freezing, and our weapon freezing, we have a constant source of shatter coming our way, feeding all of our abilities and feeding us tons of damage resistance. Thanks to conduction, these shards are going to suck up to us, so we don't need to run to collect them. With Whisper of Rhyme, it's going to increase our max stacks of frost armor from ×5 to ×8, allowing us to get a 36% damage resist. I often prefer Frost Armor to Woven Mail, as Frost Armor has a lot better rotation and shelf life on it. Now as all these shards are coming into us on the constant, I'm running the cocktail of elemental charge mods for a chance of an armor charge whenever we pick up a stasis shard, and we pair this with times dilation mods on our class item to extend that timer we have with each charge. This way we can make a font build with ease, naturally upgrading those stats without ever having to worry about it. Now depending on your armor pieces, that recipe might change a little bit. We've currently got one class mod on here and I think 2 grenade ones. It doesn't really matter as long as we hit our goal of 50 hundy nada allocation on our stats. Now that exotic armor piece is all about making our melees more intense, we're no doubt going to be running the Gambler's Dodge. The ability did change a little bit in Ash and Iron, where we now need 100 melee to get back 100 melee instead of just that 70 stat, but that's not to worry as we already have 100 here with this kit. More melees means more ice, and that's what this kit's all about. Because we have all our weapons and abilities making us ice, I want a quick way to deal with it, and for me the best way for this is always that Shadow Dive. Jump up, crash down, ad's gone. Particularly when we have that Stasis Hunger modifier, when you activate it, you have an absolutely unlimited source of those grenades, so we can shadow dive those glacial walls to our heart's content, chucking out ridiculous amounts of air control and tremendous AoE damage. And if that ice is at range, thanks to our melee, instead of throwing another shuriken to break it, we've got Whisper of Rending equipped, so our primary ammo weapons do increase damage to stasis crystals and frozen targets. This makes shattering easy regardless if we're close or far, and as we've got Whisper of Fishes equipped, these shatters are going to be bigger and stronger, and with Whisper of Shards, when we shatter crystals, this is temporarily going to boost our grenade recharge rate. Now this is crystals from any source, doesn't matter if it's from a melee, weapon or grenade, so this fragment is always going to be proccing, and because of this, when we shatter additional crystals, this increases the duration of this benefit. This is a mouth-watering 500% increase to our base grenade cooldown, and as we're already at 100, it's kind of bonkers, meaning even if we're not running an encounter with hunger, we can still get back our grenades in as little as 8 seconds. Now perks like Shield Crush and the artifact are great, as when we have Frost Armor, it's going to make our melees recharge faster and gain strength, but if you're already running Argent, you might have to choose between Shield Crush or Frigid Glare. This is also a great perk though, particularly for our gunplay, as our Stasis Precision Final Blows cause combatants to release a freezing burst. This works even better now with that Argent perk and makes crowd control with the bow and the scout rifle simply lovely. We've still just got the one super unfortunately, but this does great crowd control, and at 100 we've got it all the time, and I'll be trying to push that up even further with that Ashes Assets boost on my mod, aiding our super regen from our grenade kill. Now feel free to pause here for all my fragments, mods and artifacts, but there will be a dim link in the description down below. I would try and use this as more of a guide rather than the absolute truth, as getting the right allocation of those stats is what makes this kit shine. So you might need to run a different set of fonts depending on your armor allocation. Either way, I love that Stasis Hunger, and now that Iron is here, I'm all here for that bow and all that chaos and crowd control it offers us. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. For me, the bow is a bit of a guilty pleasure, but I know that all of you out there love that Mask of Fealty. Make sure to thumb it if you dug it, sub if you're new, and as always, tippy tie my damies, what a tie.